What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here, Warframe. Okay, what I want to do is I want to talk about the latest topic that they posted the other day. Building Warframe. We're talking Warframes mods and weapons for PvP 2.0. Now, of course, we're not watching PvP gameplay right now. Currently, to me, PvP has always been broken, and that's something that looks like it's about to change. So we're going to talk about it a bit. I'm going to talk about what they've posted, you know, discuss some of the weapons and everything. Feel free to leave comments and everything below. I will relay that over to the dev team, of course. But you can also go to the post and talk about it and ask lots of questions. I'll have links in the description so you can jump right over there and ask any of your questions over there as well. So let's talk about it, and I'll give you my opinions here on it. So they're finally actually updating PvP to the new PvP 2.0. Essentially, right off the top of the bat, PvP and PvE are going to be entirely different, okay? So what is being done and changes being made in one zone or one instance of the game is not being done in the other instance of the game. So just keep that in mind. First, there's going to be a small list of weapons, a small list of frames, small list of things, and they're going to take it piece by piece, okay? Because basically what we're looking at is, as they say, the most valuable lesson taken from Dark Sector conflicts was Warframe powers, when used against other Tennos, could be impossible to overcome. That's why with their 2.0 update features an extensive overhaul of the current system. Everything from mods to Warframes are getting reevaluated to ensure that they fit in our self-contained missions. Okay, important to note, I think, as we go through it, that you'll see there are some things that I'm pretty interested in. I may actually touch this, which could be a good or a bad thing, depending upon how it goes. So let's start out here. When they touched on the right Warframe. So with the knowledge that powers can be grossly warped any battle to favor a limited number of Warframes, the new Day 1 Conclave PvP maps restrict Warframe use to the select few of Excalibur, Mag, or Vault. Okay, now that doesn't mean that there won't be more available. It's just that their first priority is to balance exclusively for PvP. Because of these changes that were made related to the missions, that will never affect the balance of the PvE content. So adjustments made to each Warframe are done to keep the Conclave as fair as possible. So there'll be more coming. They're just going to do them one at a time so that they can make the adjustments as needed, so that way everything is balanced. Balance is key when we're talking about PvP, and it's more about skill than it is about maxing DPS and whatnot. And that's the way I play. I play it all based on skill. That's the way I've always played. It's not about max anything, it's about skill. So this is a big change here. So something like using Mag's pull as an example. In PvE, you know, you're maximizing the number of enemies pulled at a range. It's an optimal way to use that ability. Even at max range damage, pull, knowing where to place the mag precast is incredibly important. After a player has put time into making the ability good, knowing when to use it becomes the most important skill. So in PvP logic, it's going to be something like that. Using pull should never be the most obvious choice. And this is even more critical to remember in an environment where energy is going to be a limited source. So that's going to be a big thing as well. Stuff like, will you use super jump to reach a good vantage point? Will you run in and try to score a kill with your slash dash? Will you shock, spam shock between rifle bursts? Or is it worth searching for more energy for successive shock speed flag runs? stuff like that. So you're gonna have to actually think about how you're doing it, and they're balancing powers to fit this new type of update. Now, they're going to be restricting mods. This is a big thing, and I think this is probably the most important part here. Yeah, you can balance the frames, but mod restriction is really going to make it a little more difficult for some. Equally important are limitations placed on mods. Instead of enabling mods that alter the size and strength of a Warframe abilities or stats, mods used in PvP 2.0 are focused on utility. So, a lot more thinking in here. So, things like Handspring, Aviator, Maglev, and Acrobat are good examples of mods that add substance to PvP by increasing survivability in a skill-based way. PvP exclusive mods do the same, so providing corrupted alternatives for players to feel comfortable sacrificing health or speed for a boost in another stat. So there will be exclusive mods for PvP only content. How they're going to deliver them, I would assume, is just going to be within the Conclave missions themselves. This should help steer the focus away from idolizing max DPS builds and towards Warframes that have an increased survivability depending on the preferences of the individual player. So, again, you guys know me. I've never built anything for max DPS. I build for things that allow me to survive, and that's the way I've always played the game, even in PvE. I have done many PvP games in the past. This right now is shaping up to be a mode that I may actually really get into, and we'll see. And if I do, you know, we'll definitely bring it to the channel. We'll definitely have more talk about it, more discussions about it. You know, it's shaping up to be something pretty good. And after about 2 years of waiting to see this happen, it's great to see that the change is coming. So basically, survivability here is going to be in your own hands instead of relying on more health and armor than an opponent takes. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the weapon choices here. So, careful weapon choice selections. In PvE, of course, we know that varying depends on the kind of enemy players face and how you want to build it, because it's always been entirely how you want to build it, so that way you enjoy it. And in PvP, damage types such as slash, impact, and puncture are less balanced. Now, in PvP 2.0, all weapons are going to do a flat damage instead of having their damage broken down into various types. So they're going to be removing procs that can bypass armor or force bleeds, critical strikes that also have also been removed, replaced instead with a 1.5 damage multiplier on any headshot made. Further adjustments have been made to weapons on a per case basis, just so that you're aware. So that's good. They're taking out procs that can bypass armor, that can force bleeds. They're taking out critical strikes and replacing it with the multiplier for headshots. So if you're really good and you can drop some headshots, you're going to get that extra damage. Just like the permitted Warframes, players need to own the permitted weapons in order to participate in PvP. So the following that I'm going to tell you here is just a short list that they've got for the launch coming up. Primary weapons are going to be the Bratton, the Latron, the Paris, the Strun, and the Boar. Secondary weapons will be the Lato, the Dual Lato, the Kunai, Furies, Dual Furies, and Sicarus. And melee weapons will be the Bow, the Furax, and the Skana. Variations of each of these weapons are also permitted, although it's wise to keep in mind that changes may be made to any PvP weapon in the interest of balance and fair play. An unwieldy weapon with good stats is no match for a gun you know and trust. So, that's basically it. I'm actually, like I've said a million times now in the video, looking forward to seeing these changes. I really want to try it out. I'm already interested in it, and we'll see how it plays. I mean, you know, you got better balancing, you got survivability as your skill. It's a skill-based setup now instead of, you know, overpowering yourselves with mods that unbalance it. And then you're going to have to really utilize and think about what you're doing. Seems to be a pretty good setup. It's a decent list of weapons, and yeah, it's a small, short list of frames to start out with. But like they said, that there will be variations permitted, and they're going to obviously add more in as time goes on, and they adjust each one and one by one, and it won't have any effect on what's going on in the PvE environment. So to me, this is a great step forward. As I said, if you guys have any comments or anything, please do feel free to leave them below. I'll share them with the dev team if the discussions are good enough and you guys really want me to. But you can also go to the forums, post on it, ask them questions, get involved in it if you want. I'll leave that link in the description below. So until next time, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.